All right, stand by. Wait for the cue. One person operation today. All right, there we go. Should be good enough. Okay, let's share it now. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're episode 6. Yes, we've had 5 other meetings, but I think you can catch up okay. You'll get it. It's not one of those things you have to go back and watch the first 5 episodes because you're already in the middle of the process. And you'll ask me questions if you're not sure. I'll gladly refer back to things I did before. We also want to encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If somebody reminds me at the end, I'll be glad to drop that link. Like tomorrow, I'm redoing one I did earlier on affordable colleges that over the years have been affordable, very affordable, and provided great career results for my students. Because, by the way, that is the metric, career results. I hope you think that, because I believe that's a key metric to what a college is supposed to do. There you go. So let's get into the exact things I'm covering here now. Okay. All right. Okay. Some people are getting bumped here and there. Not sure why. I think I'm okay. All right. Upcoming important activities. Then we'll get into the meat of the meeting. I'm having office hours like I do every year for FAFSA's essays, but you got to make an appointment. Saturday mornings, 10:30 to 1. I'll probably extend it if I get enough people. I try to give everybody a 45-minute segment. So that means I can see 3 per morning, maybe 4. But I'm starting that this Saturday, and you're welcome to join that. You're welcome to join that on Saturdays, okay? It's by appointment only, so you got to let me know by email. At the very end, I know I'll remember, I'll put my email address and the link to the website, which will take you right to the YouTube channel. I'll show you how. I would just use our website to get to the YouTube channel. I wouldn't approach it on YouTube. All right, let's continue. The DC trip, we had to move it because of the shutdown. And I'm glad I did because I see they made the announcement that 20%, it was 10, now 20% of flights will be affected. In fact, they're canceling flights, and our return flight was canceled by Southwest this morning on our original trip. So I'm changing the date, which is a blessing for some because there were a lot that wanted to join the trip who couldn't. I'm pricing that out now. I think it'd be a nice price. I think it'd be a fair price. It won't be the 650 it would have been to go this Saturday. We're going to go this Saturday if you're following this. But now it's December 6th through 8th. If you're interested, the airfare runs about 400. I'll give you the exact number if you get a hold of me. I'll send you a link to register because we have to have that information for insurance purposes. Lodging is 145. Yes, for 2 nights, we subsidize the lodging. And yes, it's a 4-star hotel. We generally deal with Marriott's, and they have a lot of different nice properties. We had the one we've chosen is in Crystal City, just near the airport, to be paid by the day on the day of travel, the lodging part. You're going to see GW and Howard University. Although if everybody's looking at Howard, nobody GW. Obviously, I'll put most of my time to Howard on the last day, and we'll do GW as a visit to some friends of mine, my students on the campus at GW. They're pretty cool. We can see them on Sunday, okay, when we go to do our Sunday museum visit or wherever we're going. The recommended GPA for this trip is 3.6 or above. If it's an 11th grader, if you got a 2.8 student, do what you want. It's a free country, but they're going to have very good grades to do either of those schools affordably. Okay, so why even visit if you can't? But I think that GPA would be a good place to start. SAT prep for the December 6th SAT will be Sundays only. And right now it's going to be on November 16th, 23rd, and 30th, but it's going to have to be 4-hour sessions, 4 hours taking away the breaks. We're going to have breaks in the middle. We'll give a good, solid survey of the techniques for the SAT. If you want to get on that, you have to get a hold of me so I can tell you about it. You may not even need the SAT, but that's why I interview everyone. I've had 3 people try to sign up already, but they really didn't need the SAT. I mean, if your student is 2.8, 2.9, there's 100% chance they will not be using that score. By the way, if students have a 3.6 or 7, depending on the school they pick, they never needed to use the SAT, even for money. Sometimes there's a money impact. We'll talk about that later. Okay, here I did a video on this the other day. If you've seen the channel, I think only 3 or 4 people have seen it, so this is fresh. Here's some top things. Listen to this. I conceived of this video one evening. I said, "Wow, have I ever said this before?" No, I haven't. I didn't even say it at a couple of outings we had recently when I was in the town speaking to people. Top things that happen automatically. Oh, so this is exclusive to people here, right? Top things that happen automatically in the admissions is my own slave prop. These things happen automatically. Stop. Don't worry about it. It's fine to stop even worrying about it. But there's some things at the end that I'm going to reverse on you a little bit. Merit scholarships at most, by most, I mean like 95% of universities, are automatically considered with the admissions application. Now, that includes everything that goes with the application. If there's a self-report of grades that needs to be correctly done, then you'll be considered. If they're looking for transcripts, which I did not cover today, I'm covering it in a video. I'm gonna cover transcriptology in a separate video. It'll drop probably tomorrow afternoon. I'm thinking I was gonna say morning. I don't think it will drop in the morning. But there's a whole thing about transcripts. It may come up during the session. Someone may ask me, I don't know, wink, wink. They're automatically considered with the admissions application, including everything that comes with it. Next, the Cal Grant is automatic at California universities if a FAFSA is filed. So if a FAFSA is filed, it's automatic. Okay, it is an automatic event that occurs if the FAFSA is filed. Okay, I hope everybody understands that. That goes also for the Texas grant. I have someone here, I believe, from Houston. So same thing with the Texas grant, just file FAFSA. You'll be considered for the Texas state grant as well. I don't see the folks from New Jersey here, but I would tell them the same thing if they were here. Okay. If you properly file your common application, those universities will automatically, listen to this, wait for your test scores through December. Even if you're early action, they'll wait for your scores. I know people think early action, they're going to hear about like the next week. It doesn't work that way. But Leon, you have a question. Open up your
Yeah,
mic.
I did actually. Just going back to that first bullet point. Um, what does that mean when you say most merit scholarships are automatically considered?
Oh, well, some people think they have to file another application for the scholarships from the school, from the
Okay,
scholarships, but that's not true. I know of personally about 1 or 2 colleges where that's true,
okay, so
and
okay,
I
so
know
that's
and
the
I know a
merit,
lot of colleges.
right? So that's the merit scholarship tied to a specific university, not
Right,
uh.
right.
Okay, okay,
You apply for it, get everything in on time, you'll be considered for it.
gotcha. Okay,
Student be considered. Good
thank you.
question. All right, good question. Yeah, just like he did, you all. That's the best thing to do. I'll see that hand, or just start talking, whatever you're gonna do there. Got some of y'all here would just start talking to me because you know me. But raising the hand works too. If you properly file your okay, Sister Hines, go ahead. Oh, she's coming in the room. Sorry. I'm tripping, y'all. UC and CSU will automatically consider applications where no SAT scores are reported. Well, the reason for that is they don't read SAT scores. But you have to have an accurate self-report of your grades. In the case of CSU, it's a little tricky. And if you want us to file it for you, just a small donation, we'll file it for you. They were late giving us our fee waivers. So I see Sister Veronica, we're ready to roll. I could have delivered tonight, but you see what I'm busy doing and getting ready for. It's ready to go. Because they were like 3 weeks late providing me the fee waiver codes, but there was good news that came with it. I can do 50 instead of 25. Isn't that nice? Okay, so there's no SAT reported, they'll still consider the application. Students filing a FAFSA will get a 50, all students, I should have said all students. Filing a FAFSA will get a $5,500 low interest direct student loan guaranteed. I know what you're thinking, parents, right away. I don't want no loans. Well, it's not your loan, it's theirs. And they should pay something for college.
I was
Oh.
having problems on my cell phone, Deacon
Oh,
Wilson.
good.
So
Now you're
now
home.
I'm trying to connect on the house computer.
Well, now
Sorry
you're
about
bad.
that.
Now you bad now. Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
sorry
That's what
about
you're trying
that.
to say. Gotcha. No problem. All right. Let me have my controls. Okay. Parents, listen to this, parents, very closely. Students attending college starting in fall 2026 have an automatic $200,000 total cap on their parent loan for undergraduate students. So if you have a student, this is the way it usually evolves. I'm sorry. If you have a student where you're paying $40,000 a year, 4 years, no problem. Your parent loan will cover it. We'll talk about how much you'll owe a little later in the meeting. However, if they take another year, things happen. They get sick or whatever. It takes another year, and so now you're getting close to the $200,000 cap. Nobody knows today what will happen if parents exceed it, but I can tell you, everybody acting like they don't know. We know what's going to happen. They're going to have to take out a private loan to cover the additional, and there will not be a low interest parent loan at that point. Even if the Fed reduces the rates, I don't think it will be. Okay, so there's some things that happen automatically in the process. There are a lot of other things, but these are the ones I'm most concerned about, or parents ask about all the time, or didn't know about, or whatever combination of it. Okay, let's continue. Here's the college types to be considered for a balanced list. I'm concerned about you having a balanced college list. If you do all of one type of school, you're going to pay more for college. It's good to have colleges across a few of these types. Maybe not all of them. Now, I will mention one everybody should have in a minute. Not all these types, but across the types. I run into people that are only going to apply to New England East Coast colleges, or only going to apply to HBCUs, or that one comes up a lot. Or I'm only going to apply to the one school or another, but I don't know. First, we have the universities of California. We have the California State Universities, which I do think everyone should apply to. It's no essays, no recommendations. It's your safety school. The school, you should apply to the school in your house, where your house lives, the school in that area. Not the, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Sorry, guys. The area of the high school, the closest CSU is your area high school, is your area CSU. You should apply to that one, plus a few selective CSUs. And remember, if we do it for you, it's for fee waivers. No, you can't get the fee waiver if you do it on your own. CSU only gives that to me because they know I'm helping students to apply. Last year, I helped over 100, so I guess that helps them, especially in this world they're in now if they're reduced enrollment. We have various elite selective private colleges. Come on, you know what they are. NYU, Ivy League, you know what's up. Rice, come on. I would say USC and LMU. I would say like Reed College in Oregon. I would say Vanderbilt. You get the picture, right? These are very elite selective private colleges. That's a separate type of college to me. Sometimes I look at lists, they're all that type of college. And I realize those parents are going to pay a lot for college because these colleges are not given what they gave percentage wise of the total cost before the pandemic. It was not uncommon for A students to end up paying just $15,000, $20,000 a year for a lot of these very elite selective private colleges. But now those same schools are $35,000, $40,000, $50,000. It's almost like they're trying to come back from what they lost during the pandemic. It almost looks like collusion too. When you look across the elites, they're all about the same cost. They're all $95,000 to $100,000, maybe a little over 100. I would say $90,000 to $100,000 a year. which is like really buying a house if you think about it. Protestant Christian colleges is a separate category because they're very affordable. There's some excellent selective Protestant Christian colleges that are quite affordable, especially when compared to the very elite private colleges, especially there. Other private colleges, there you go. These are private colleges that you'll find the good deals. And to which you might say, oh, you know, I want something more known. Well, there's some pretty good colleges in that you've heard of. I will discuss those later in the presentation. HBCUs, traditionally Black colleges. I see those in two separate categories. The HBCUs are 98% private Black colleges. And to me, some of them are just like either other private colleges or just like elite selective private colleges. A lot of them are elite selective. I mean, let me talk. So there's some Black schools you can get a rejection letter to. Surprises a lot of people. You can get a reject letter to Spelman, Hampton, Howard. You know, reject letters are not uncommon to those three schools. Not at all. They're selective private colleges. I would even say elite in that sense because you can get rejected. But other Black colleges are just other private colleges, just traditionally Black colleges, which are state schools, which means that they're mostly Black, but not all Black, right? Because they're state colleges, but they're traditionally Black. Delaware State, Virginia State, you know, et cetera. There's others I could mention. Norfolk State. Yeah, you have Norfolk State, and 4 miles across the river is Hampton. Two entirely different cost models. I've had students get into Hampton, see it's too much, and switch quickly to Norfolk State, and it's way less. Somebody say, but it's not the HU. I know, you know, but you still can stomp the yard. Come on now. It's still mostly Black. All right, okay, I'll leave that alone. Alternate colleges is the other category. We'll talk about that a little later. Step 2, the situation needs to be understood by youth. What a great life lesson for you as a young person if you're here. Okay? Oftentimes in life, your best effort doesn't get you what you want. We parents know that. We have times we were passed over for promotions, or we did really well and didn't get noticed. But welcome to adulthood. You don't get everything you want. Okay, there's a song about that, but I won't bother to sing today. In life, you get what you earn. It's often not what you want. These are life lessons for youth in this college process. It's not the parents' fault if you cannot have the college you want because they don't want to spend the money on it. You know, it's not their fault. Note, parents, it's for parents. You have no reason at all to feel guilty if you cannot or will not do a college due to cost. I give you permission to have that as a reason, and students should understand. That means more stuff for you. If you go to a school they can easily afford, well, thank God, that means more stuff for you. That's the way I look at that. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna keep it moving. Remember, any questions, let me know. I'm not really looking at the chat because I don't have nobody monitoring for me. Just let me know. Just tell me. How about some alternative career starts? Alternative four-year college as a life starter. Here we go. Well, these can reduce your costs up to $100,000 for 4 years. Here's some of our alternate partners. Charles Drew University. It's an impressive health science career here in Los Angeles, down near the split of the 710 and the 105. It's 1/10 the cost of a traditional private college. It's fully accredited, has a great record for preparing students to become doctors, and I think it's like 8 medical careers that they prepare students for. Charles Drew University. We have a great record with them. They give our students a little more money, and we love our partnership with them. We just send 1 or 2 every year there. LA Trade Tech and Long Beach City College. These are great parallel career path schools while attaining your transfer degree. They do real estate, cosmetology, food and nutrition. I have more to say about parallel careers. They have a great matriculation agreement, Trade Tech does, with USC. It's a super one. Long Beach City has a great agreement with CSU Long Beach. You can be co-enrolled in both and finish in 3 years. Okay? These are alternatives, ways of getting that degree, getting that career started. How about another non-traditional pathway? I guess I have one. El Camino College. Project Success is a great internal enrichment program for Black and Hispanic students. 90% make it to a four-year college. They also have some great professional certificates they can put you for while you're doing the college prep. Okay? So you want to go non-traditional, that's the way to go. Now, I have another way to view non-traditional a little later. When I get there, I'll talk about it. California two-year colleges in general, many lucrative certifications, and very great mobility for students who eventually want to work on a union type or a hands-on job. They can make a lot of money. I think with all this emphasis on AI and AI manufacturing, who's going to build this stuff? It's still going to be built. Plumbing, air conditioning. You can do AI to help you design the house, but who's going to build the house? You need a human brain to actually hit the nails and build it. These are for some kids, some students who want to do parallel careers in something else and get their degree later, right? I used to not mention this. Boy, I got to mention it now, though. I have a lot of students that went that way. I'm making lots of money right now, and they get one back for their degree. This is especially true with what's happening to new grads coming out of college. They're not finding the jobs like they used to because they need experience. A lot of them come work for me, then they go out and get a good job in their career. They got to find something they can do to gain that experience, whereas students who already have a parallel career can work in that while they're figuring out and can still get out of the house. Okay, they can do these things while getting college credits to transfer to a four-year college is the way to look at that, okay? Okay, how about the UCs as a cost? We're talking about cost-effective alternatives, right? UCs as a cost-effective alternative. Well, you got the UC, 4 essays, no teacher recommendations needed in the main application, but only the top 10% to 12% of high school students are eligible. So 2.9, 3.0, 3.1, God bless you, free country. You can apply, but just spoiler alert, you're not getting in. Okay? By state law, these schools are for the top 10%. In fact, I've heard that they review that right away in self-reports and they cut off usually about 20% of the applications under this policy here. SAT is not needed or accepted by the 9 campuses. These are research schools, everybody. So the amount of majors is way lower than CSU. Research schools in there, they think they're preparing you to take a master's. I like to see college prepare students to go to work, but what do I know? You could do both. I mean, you could still get a job, but you got to consciously figure out what parallel things you can do. I know right away your mind goes to internships, but I'm going to have a separate meeting on how to use universities to develop a career. And you're going to discover that internships is only one thing. Parents usually just wear that out, but it's not the only thing to do in that area. Your essays should be done now. Get it done. These essays should be really all completed. Anybody I work with, I'm gonna want the UC essays done by Tuesday. A week from yesterday, probably the best way. Typically 18,000 to 34,000 to live on campus, and a UC CSU GPA of 4.0 gets it done. Although I saw some people at 3.9 and 3.8 getting into some of the UCs, not UC San Diego, not UCLA, and probably not UC Berkeley. Those are ones everybody wants, I know, but you got to start thinking about these other UCs as well if you're applying to UC. They're very selective. Remember, they don't have the SAT score to use to help them, so they can only go on the quality of your essays and your grades. And essays that start later in the process are just not as good. I would say right now it's the last time you can kind of start a UC essay and do a really quality one. And you need to be a very good writer or have great coaching, which we do. We will coach students to do the essay. You saw I have open house, have office hours 1 day a week, but we do stuff online as well. I have I have a great essay reviewer, and I do it myself too. Let's continue. Any questions? Let me know. CSUs are a cost-effective alternative. Now you got some counselors that are haters that are going to tell you don't apply to UC. It's a less school. It's less. It's a lesser. It's lower. Well, 4 of the CSUs are more selective than Cal Berkeley. It's just the way it goes. Selectivity, tells me that some of those schools are highly regarded, and they are. In fact, 17 of the 23 CSUs are in the top 4 in some professional category, some of them multiple categories. We do not have a bad state's college system at all. Anyway, there's no essay, no recommendations, just a self-report of the grades. Above 2.5, you can get into 6 to 7 of the CSUs. The most selective CSUs, you need to be 3.8 plus, and they have 250% more majors than UC. That's 2.5 times the majors of UC. So they're definitely more of a go to work, chop kind of school. All right. The application was available October 1st. We can send you an application data sheet for you to complete if you'd like us to assist in the CSU process. We usually like to do that right after the college readiness meeting, but if we don't have one, you just want to start, just let me know, we'll start. Okay, now we have our fee waivers, we're ready to roll, me and Christina. Application is not user friendly, which is why CSU asks us to help, because it's easy to make a mistake on that application. The typical cost of a CSU will be $18,000 to $24,000 for my families on campus. Oops, I should have closed the paren. I suppose if the family is 40,000 or less, or 50,000 or less, that will go down substantially. It'll be more like $2,000 to $10,000, with 2,000 on the lower end, meaning if they're 40,000 or 35,000 in family income, it's way affordable. It's not nothing to go, but it's way affordable. Maybe $200-300 a month to go to the school. Okay. All right, let's go on here. Okay, let's get into this a little more. If you decide to go private, expect the following. Here's some schools that are more affordable if you decide to go. When we're talking about more affordable options, I feel Howard is an affordable option, but they're selective. I mean, you need to get in. The very highest GPAs can get some merit award money to make it as low as 20,000, I suppose. But we're talking about families making 70 to 150,000 a year that are applying to Howard. Now, of course, if you're 40,000 or 50 and you have the chops and the grades to get into Howard, you'll pay a lot less for Howard, but you're going to pay 10 to 12,000 minimum. Okay, but certainly, 25 to 30 is not uncommon with the high unweighted GPA. Now, remember, Howard does not read the SAT for admissions. I put it up there because they do read it for merit scholarships. Our GW, George Washington University, $20,000 to $40,000. Again, that's as opposed to $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. That's why these schools are on the list, okay? Remember, they're more affordable private school options, so you're competing with that. Lehigh University, it's a good school for financial aid. Carnegie Mellon is. Tuskegee definitely is a good buy. And notice this under private colleges, just like Howard, because it is a private college. I'll hit it again with HBCUs in a minute. Certain Christian colleges are very affordable. I've sent a lot of students to Seattle Pacific and Grand Canyon, and they're having super careers. But a lot of you are going to base it on the name of the school, and you won't pick one of these. But I'm telling you, parents, my first responsibility is to offer you opportunities to get the most protection to your retirement. Think of me as Deacon Wilson, guardian of your retirement. Okay? So there's some ideas there. Remember, you have a copy of the presentation. You can look at this later. If you came in and didn't get it, I'll drop it in later. I know some came in after I started. How about the most affordable predominantly Black colleges? Notice my wording, predominantly Black. So that means I can go to traditionally Black colleges. Norfolk State. Norfolk State has a nice scholarship for high GPA students, which will have you paying less than a California State University. That's how bad they want good students out of state at Norfolk. Virginia State, same thing. Delaware State, same thing. Southern, same thing. Although Southern University, they have that hook where if you apply early, they waive the tuition, out-of-state tuition, which makes it really a good buy when you add your merit award to it. Paul Quinn is a sleeper school, private in Dallas, has a cost model that's similar to Grand Canyon, except it's a Black school. It's in Dallas. Jackson State, that's another one that's affordable. Talladega, another one that's affordable. Texas Southern, another one that's affordable. Well, somewhat affordable, Texas Southern. And of course, Tennessee State, which is in East Tennessee, Nashville, is a predominantly Black state college, okay? And of course, Bowie State in Maryland, which is right near DC. It's in the DC Confederation where you can go to Bowie State and take classes at Howard, George Washington University. You can go to the other schools in the city by your third year if you like to. They have a consortium in town there. Okay. Again, very affordable though for out-of-state students. Here, the most expensive, predominantly Black colleges are going to be 30 to 50,000 in net cost. Hampton, Spelman, Morehouse, Xavier, Florida A&M, Fisk. Okay, these are going to be your more expensive Black colleges. Okay, and a lot of them have really large endowments, which I don't understand that, but okay. How about the most affordable Western public universities? Boise State, Colorado University Boulder, University of Nevada, Reno, Eastern Oregon State, University of New Mexico. We have students in all these schools. New Mexico State University. These are your most affordable. I have the most of my out-of-state Western students, like 90% of them, are at Boise State, right? Have gone to, we put only over 50 students to school. And, disclaimer, including my daughter, okay? Went there and she came out with a really nice career, as do most of the students that are there, okay? We have a nice presentation we have with them. I think I did an interview with her too. If you want to, again, get the YouTube channel, look at that interview. You can contact the admissions rep or me. I can show you how to apply real quick. No essay, no recommendation. The application takes 13 minutes for these schools. You'll have 11 to 20,000 in net cost for GPA as low as 3.0 to 3.2. You can't beat that at 3.0 to 3.2 to get a 10, 11,000 or 12,000 if you have need-based funds. For a out-of-state school, you're definitely out of state. You're not going to be at home. It's goodbye. Okay, let's talk about the parent loan for undergraduate students. Any questions before I move on? I'm going fairly quick because I don't want to keep you here all night. Any questions? All right, I guess you tell me if you have. Let's talk about the PLUS loan. Yep, parent loan for undergraduate students. It's called the PLUS loan. What are alternatives to taking out that parent loan that I've seen parents do? They get pretty creative. I seem to learn one every couple of years I hadn't thought of. But here are the main ones. PLUS loan payments can be deferred till after graduation. That's important to know. A lot of parents do that. It's much easier approval than commercial loans. 4 years of a PLUS can be consolidated by the feds, and part of it might be forgiven when you consolidate the parent loan. I think there are going to be some companies that are going to come in the private world and do more of that forgiving of loans in return for, in fact, you can still get the lower interest rates. We'll have to see how that develops, but that is a true statement still. Currently, the interest rate is going to be 9.2%. Yeah, that's high. It typically runs 6% above the Fed. So if the Fed drops the rates back to 2%, you're looking at about a 7.9 or 8% loan. And I think if Congress can ever get their act together, it's been proposed by the current administration to lower it to 6%. So we'll have to see what happens here. This is what it is right now. It will change based on the Fed. I already said that. Alternative loans may have a lower interest rate. That's what I was talking about. Current lowest is SoFi. You might have heard of SoFi. I think they have the name on a stadium in Inglewood. Payments start right away at fixed interest rates, no waiting, no deferrals. A lot of you will choose to go with SoFi for that parent loan instead of the federal government. I think it runs about 5.5%. Okay, there are some online comparisons I've done of these. I'll put them back up on the website very shortly where I compare SoFi with the PLUS loan. I'll definitely do that. I'm going to spend a lot of time today researching that, see what it is this year. So why do we have federal loans? A lot of you are, wait a minute, I went to school. I didn't have to do that. Hold on. It was very small, Deacon, if I had to do it at all. But why do we have federal loans? All right, here we go. Here's why. Listen to this. Need-based federal and state grants plus merit scholarships are considerably less than the direct cost for college. Direct cost is tuition, room, and board. So you get all this financial aid, and it's not enough. So you have a gap. Now, I say need-based and state grants. Most of you hearing me right now are not getting any need-based. You aren't getting a state grant, so just merit scholarships. So you know you're going to have a wider gap in general. This is why the other stuff I covered was so relevant. So in the blue, we have the tuition, fees, room, and board. That's known as direct costs. Well, you usually have a part down here that's going to be Pell Grant, Cal Grant that are need-based, university grants, sometimes need-based, often not, and merit scholarships is forming that red block. Then you're going to have a part you need for cash out of your pocket plus loans. And that gives you an idea of where loan. That's a little disproportionate, but that block can vary, but there's going to be something in those blue lines. And that's why we have loans, okay? Student loans and parent loans. There are two categories of student loans. I have student in quotes, you'll see why. First of all, quotes again. Direct student loans are also called Stafford loans, and we have Perkins loans. Perkins are no interest loans. If students volunteer, they can get the loan forgiven pretty easily, but they're very small loans. And every college will not offer you a Perkins loan. Only colleges that have low default rates. I only know of two Black colleges that are allowed to give Perkins loans. The rest of them, they have default rates that are above the national average. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but we're not here to do that today. The parent loan for undergraduate students, also called the plus. And wait a minute, Deacon. That's a student loan? Yes, the parent loan is actually a student loan. It's a student loan that parents are responsible for, that they can take out. It's considered part of the student loan system. I told you Perkins loans are totally forgiven. Back over to plus loans, there's no loan forgiveness, and there is a credit check. There's a commercial credit check on parent loans. More on that later. There's no credit check on direct student loans. Okay, so I say that again. There is forgiveness for direct student loans. Somebody said, it's all been taken away. Well, we always had federal government employee. If you become a federal government employee for 5 years, you can get your loans forgiven. I think it's 3 years, actually. AmeriCorps, Peace Corps. My daughter got her loans forgiven. She was in Peace Corps in Guatemala for 3 years. All her loans were forgiven. Or I think a very small amount. I think her Perkins loan wasn't forgiven, actually. Teach for America. That's another way you could teach, that you can be a student aide or teacher aide in like LAUSD inner city or Long Beach inner city, and you can get your loans forgiven if you do it for a couple of years. So there is loan forgiveness, but most students don't want to do these things. But this is a way you can get your personal loans forgiven. And even though there is supposedly no more forgiveness, there is those forms of forgiveness that were always there. Why should students pay for college? I think I alluded to this earlier. I won't spend a lot of time. Students should pay or owe something for their college education. They'll receive something of lifelong value. They should pay. They are or they become more motivated to complete college as soon as possible when they have loans. And you're motivated for them to finish too because you have loans. We'll talk about that a little bit today, but a lot in future meetings. Many times parents regret their own student loans and do not want their youth to have loans. Well, that's fine, but you can pay their loans or pay the additional costs in cash, and there won't be any loans. It's just really up to you. I told you my opinion. Okay, the monthly payment is manageable on a student loan if the students plan a sustainable career independent of major. They need to plan a sustainable career that's independent of what they major. I got to think about career, not just major. This is why a lot of these majors, not going to hit it today, are just not good for making money. A life plan is needed to repay loans. I don't want to see students go into default and then have to watch them on TikTok saying they ain't going to pay it back. But those TikToks, I can't believe I'm seeing those. Anyway, other loan facts. Interest rate runs, that's not true anymore. So the direct student loan interest rate was reduced by Congress in the bill, and some of you call it the big ugly bill, big beautiful bill, or HR 1. It was reduced back to the 1.8%. So please correct that in your mind. Perkins loan is the same percentage if they get that. The parent loan, I already told you, is 9.2. We covered that. Maximum loan lengths, direct student loan, 7 years. The plus loan is 7 years. Actually, there's a 10-year option on the plus loan. They'll offer you right away. Extensions are possible, right? But it will increase the cost dramatically. I'll show you the table for both loans in just a minute. The two types of direct student loans. The first type is, again, if you need a copy of this presentation, we will provide it at the end if you came late. Otherwise, you have a copy, you'll have it for your reference. The interest is paid by the feds while the student is in college, all 4 years on a subsidized loan. Interest does accrue 6 months after the student leaves college. And if they graduate, or if they put out, or if they just stop out, it starts to pick up. The first year loan is $3,500 in subsidized loan, right? With a $2,000 unsubsidized loan. Anyway, the maximum subsidized loan after 4 years of college, they're the 3 years there, 45, and 5,500, second and third and fourth are 5,500. You add it all up, it's $19,000. And the subsidized loans are $2,000 each year for 5 years, plus an additional $4,000 per year that the parent loan was rejected. They get a special loan. But when they leave college, it's about $280 a month. They pay that for 4 years. They can get another special form of forgiveness, or they can get reduced payments and still make it under 7 years. The key is to make the payments. The maximum unsubsidized loan is 22, so you could have 41. I don't see that very often though, 41,000. I see them more around 20,000 when kids leave school. Typically, students will owe $220 there it is, to $380 per month for 5 to 7 years. Okay. Now, again, if you don't have a career where you can pay that $280 a month or $225 or whatever, you wonder about the value of that college. Let's look at the typical West Angeles student historically. They take 3.5 years of college. They owe $12,250 plus $7,000, or about $19,000, like I said a minute ago. But it's 3.5 years, right? 4 years, it can run about $22,000 when you add those up. Okay, and you can see how each year it accumulates. This is the typical student in our program. Sometimes they finish in 3 years and it's less, right? But usually it's going to be 3.5 years. You can see the way I did year 4 was half the amount in year 4 on the left panel. On the right panel is 3,500 plus 2. It's only 1,750 plus 1 on the left side. That's how I did half. Other payment alternatives. How else can you pay the loan without using a parent loan? What have parents done in the past? They've taken loans against their 401k, 403b, or deferred 257 plan. If you work for a city government, you can take loans against that. And it actually turns out your payments probably won't increase. It's like a sinking fund. You'll be able to put money back into it each week like you normally do now. Maybe you can raise it a little bit if you want, but you can take loans against that. I did that with my oldest daughter, was able to pay myself back. Plus I did the PLUS loan by itself 1 year, and I paid that off in 3 years. What you could do withdrawals from the accounts above, I don't recommend that. Your accountant will kill you. Loan from a relative. Hey, you do a loan from a relative, it might be no interest, but they're going to have strings attached. I see some very strange kind of situations where there's a relative that kind of controls the process because they got the loan. Think about that before you loan from a relative. So then you get to the fourth bullet. Can you raise your income? These are things people are doing to lower or get away from the parent loan. Payroll withholding change, because you're going to get additional write-off. Talk to your accountant because your child's in college. Major budget reductions. I see parents do all kinds of stuff to reduce budget, get rid of the second car, I advise you to go through this list before you do the parent loan. It's actually sibling schools. Look at how's private school working out. Do you want to keep the sibling in private school? I'm really good at school selection. If you want to have an alternative choice to your private college, I'm pretty good at that, or a different private college to lower the cost. Technology reductions. How about that? Cable, internet, car sales and payoffs. I'm just trying to give these are all things people have done before they decide to take out the parent loan after all, because it is an additional debt. And sometimes, as you saw earlier, it can be quite significant. Why am I not? Let's see here. It's here. I just didn't see it. Okay, here's some student behaviors. I hope students see this that tend to reduce the PLUS loan. Like the first year, you may have to take out a large loan, but each year it should actually decrease the amount that you pay in parent loan. You remember their loan increases, but also there are things that they can do once they get used to that campus and know how to use it that I should cover here. It isn't just get a job. They can become active on the campus to the extent they meet people. They could get 2 to 3 roommates off campus in years 2 through 4. I recommend 3 and 4, and one who shares the students' values. And you can save 30 to 40% of your parent loan in those years, because almost always it's cheaper to live in the surrounding area than the school. Even my most affordable colleges, there's only one case where it's not. It's cheaper to live off campus than on. But I don't want to see freshmen and a lot of sophomores not being on campus. I think they need to be on campus in freshman year, certainly, to quickly build the relationships they need to be able to do this. I don't like the idea of when they hit school, you're putting them off campus. That's why certain schools don't have enough housing. It really concerns me. Those students oftentimes come home early from college and stop out. They leave college. One major directly related to career and a job. Please, one of your majors should be related to career and a job. What you do for your minor or an interdisciplinary program is fine, okay? 2-year college classes in summer. You must take 2-year college classes in summer. I pulled the slide this time that showed how to use it in the summer. I'll cover it when I cover scholarships in detail with students in the student-only session after the beginning of the year. But 2-year college classes are essential each summer, starting with this current summer. You should take a class or two. And I'll talk about the kind of classes you'll take later. Be proactive. Take actions to prevent D's or F's, no matter what the high school. I'll tell you a little secret. If there was a certain kind of course that was a challenge in high school, it's going to follow you to college. If you were always weak in math, it's going to follow you to college. So know that ahead of time and start early using that academic center. Hallelujah. Start going in that tutoring center. Get in there and cut. If you were not a great writer, when you go to college, it's going to be amplified. That'll be your weakness. Get on in there, and there's no shame in getting some help continuously throughout the year. It's very important. Again, we're talking about behaviors that can reduce the parent loan. How does it do that? Well, it keeps you from stopping out of college. If you stop out of college, you have to go back. Now you're a 5 or 6 year student, no matter where you go to college. It's costing your parents money. Develop a study process that works. This will be definitely covered in future sessions. I can't wait. Academically prepare for college writing, college math, and our biology this summer. That's what you should be doing in the summer. Taking some early classes to get stronger. I like the idea of biology. You're going to be a pre-med major and you're going to take biology next year. Why not take it in the summer, even if you audit the class, but you can take it. And if you don't do as good as you want, what happens in what happens in the summer stays in the summer. And now you take it during the school year, you have your notes, and you've learned the things to look at closer, and you'll always get a good grade in the first year of college. Engineering students the same way. You should take calculus in the summer before you go to campus. That way, if you fail it in the summer, you know the areas you have to work on. But we have a lot of assistance for students taking calculus in the summer. We really do. We helped about 6 students take it in the summer, and then they got to fall, and some of them got so high on the summer class they didn't have to take it. But others, when they took it on the campus, got an A or getting A's right now, or B's or whatever. Okay, let's see. Important things to know about the parent loan, more about the parent loan, parents. The loan is a federal government loan, not a commercial loan, but it has commercial credit that it checks, but it is a government loan. Yes, you can find a similar loan for students. It would be a similar loan for students. You can do the same thing for students. Well, we're talking about the gap. I should be clear about this one. So once they've got their direct student loan, now you have this gap. You can get a loan for students, but you're going to have to co-sign for it anyway. They call it a co-borrower. So there are a lot of organizations that will do that loan for the student. So all the loans are in the student's name. But that second loan, you're a co-borrower. If they can't make the loan good, you're going to be asked to start the payments. They don't call it a co-signer, it's a co-borrower. You start the process by asking your youth's chosen college financial aid office about their process for the parent loan. But more than often, they're going to send you to the website, which I'll talk about next. You will get a commercial credit check by a TransUnion or another major credit company. This is an important part of the presentation. Let me make sure You'll be if you will be initially rejected for any, well, you will be, no, you won't be. You could be initially rejected for any one of the following circumstances. Here's the rules are very clear too. That's why I like this. Any kind of federal or state income tax lien or levy that's on your record, they won't make that loan to you. Any default in any payment arrangement, mortgage foreclosure the last 5 years, Chapter 9 or 11 bankruptcy the last 5 years. Chapter 13 is okay. You can still get a parent loan. Charge off of existing charge off. That's why I got to correct these. Or an existing 90-day delinquency of more than $2,085 could stop it as well. But that's the easy one to appeal. That's the easiest. So E and F, I feel, are easy to appeal. That's why I put them together. Voluntary or involuntary repossession without an agreement to pay their obligation. It's easily appealed, but it is a cause for initial rejection of the parent loan. So obviously, I do see, because of right off of an existing. So if you had a student loan and you wrote it off or never paid it, it could come back here. So obviously, we see now more than ever before rejection of parent loans. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's kind of common. The problem is, the earlier in the process you find out, you can change colleges. But if you needed that parent loan to pay for college, it could, late in the game, change your path. Talk to your colleges. Sometimes they can put through an early application for you, so you can find out early that you can't pay for a certain school or what you would have to do to pay for it. There's other loans you can probably get. Okay, other important things to know. Be sure to check off that you want the school to calculate the amount of the plus. Why? You want to be sure that the loan will cover the cost. And it's really hard to know all of the direct costs. It really is hard when you go online. So just make sure you make it a little more, cover it. I can help you decide that. You can find out online. It's just how you read it, especially the one-time cost items that you're going to do as a freshman that you won't have to do again. You want to get that all. If you're going to do a plus, make sure it covers everything. If you're approved for a plus, half of that loan we made available for fall, and the other half we made available for spring. So if you figure out you need $30,000 for the year, $32,000, you get the loan. It'll be $16,000 applied the first semester, and $16,000 will be applied the second semester. Steps for getting it: contact the school. They'll send you, as I said a minute ago, to the student loan website. Parents, yes, the student loan website. There's no parent loan website. You log in with your FAFSA username and password, parents, not your youth. It's your loan, not theirs. You look for apply for plus. You click and follow all the steps. It's really pretty easy. You click that you want the school to determine the amount of the plus. Let them determine it. Click that you will receive the refund, not your student. That's a very important step, that you pay yourself back for upfront costs you're going to pay to get them to college. You will know the answer in 20 to 30 seconds, sometimes sooner, if you're approved. If approved, you then click on Master Promissory Note. You fill out the promissory note. School's out. Here's the parent loan table that I spoke of earlier. You think of your loan amounts as principal, and 4 years if you do. I should have just cut it off at 200, huh? Because there's no parent loan above 200. I'm gonna have to revise this table. But if you have 170,000 in loans, it's gonna be a monthly payment of $21.20 for 10 years. The way I have this at 8.6, if you do, 8.6% interest. But I think it's 9.2 this year. Remember, every year it could go down. So I'm predicting it will go down this year, actually. But I've never seen it below 6.5. Okay, so $23.60 a person at 170 would be $2,120 per month for 10 years. Think about that, parents. The total repay will be $254,000 if you go the whole 10 years. Now, when I got the parent loan for my daughter, I doubled the payments and tripled it sometimes, and I got a bonus on my aerospace job to allow me to pay it off in 2 years. It's just the way it worked. But then again, she didn't have a big gap that year. College scholarship types. Let's talk about scholarships. We'll close out with that. Any questions? I don't hear or see any. Okay. Third-party scholarships are free money, usually given by organizations, I say usually again, directly to the college for direct student cost. They pay it directly to the college. That's what a scholarship does. Now, a sponsorship you hear about later, maybe I covered here. Like we give sponsorships, very small though, for books and stuff. That money goes directly to the hands of the student. Okay? Colleges require that the financial aid office be notified if a scholarship is awarded to a student. Wonder why, because they're going to find out anyway when they just deposit it, right? Usually the check is written out to the college. You can talk to the scholarship provider, they might change it. Hard to say. Nearly always the colleges first, listen to this, apply the scholarship to the loans. Remember, every college will offer first-year students a $5,500 loan. So if you get a $2,000 scholarship from a private source, they're going to write a check out to the school will get it, they'll apply it to the student's loans. They won't apply it to their student account and lower what they owe. They won't do that. They'll apply it to the loan. Call them up though, maybe you can negotiate it. California private colleges, oh yeah. After the loans, scholarships are applied to lower the Cal Grant. See, they get a Cal Grant, they're required by state law to lower that Cal Grant if there's an outside scholarship. I don't like that, but that's what happens here in California. Some kind of state law. Now watch this. Magically, there's nothing left for the student. Smiles, because they're doing the math, right? They decide where to apply it. There's no refund to the student from that loan if they owe a gap amount, right? That's California state law thing, right? Other things about college scholarship types, third-party sponsorships. Now, there's sponsorships. Free money, this is sponsorships, everybody, not scholarships. Free money given by a few nonprofit organizations directly to the student for indirect costs. That's what we do when we give that award. It's like, imagine a bunch of people getting together, putting money together and giving you money with certain criteria. That's a sponsorship. Student is not required to report sponsorship to colleges, okay? Make sure you understand that. That's why a lot of us prefer to give these things directly to the student. It's like a bunch of people getting together, agreeing to give a student money for college. That's all it is. It's often accidentally and mistakenly called a scholarship. It does act and feel like a scholarship. It does, but it's not a scholarship. Wes Anderson has a sponsorship fund, is what we have, for church members and some of our active participants in the program. We'll let you know as we go through the year what we're going to do with that. We suspended it during COVID. I gave a few of them to last year's students. Let's see. Regularly attending, participating in the program participants, those are the people we look at for awards. We don't feel that we put our, poured into that student. So we want to preserve that. We want to invest in that. Okay, then we have institutional need-based grants or free money, usually given by colleges to themselves. See, there it is. It's a grant given by the college to itself, if you think about it that way, right? Dollars do not really change hands. There's no money changing hand in these. It's just them reducing the cost of the college, agreeing to do that. Okay, so colleges think about it that way. Do we want to reduce the income we could get? Each year in college, financial aid need is reassessed from the FAFSA, and the need-based grants will go down or up. So if you get $13,000 from, USC for need-based, then you get a raise on your job, that need-based component will go down, right? On the other hand, if you make the same amount or less, then it's going to go up or stay the same. So each year you're filing a FAFSA, each year. What doesn't change is your merit award. If you keep your grades up, it stays in place exactly. But the cost of the college keeps going up. That's why this need-based portion is such an important, usually called a university grant, is an important consideration in college costs. By the way, parents, I call that sustainability when you're after the first year. It's like the ability to sustain. At the first year you handle it, but can you keep it going? It's going to depend on how colleges handle these need-based private institutional grants. Excuse me, I thought I was talking about institutional need-based. For CSU and UC, need-based grants are the Cal grants, right? University grants and Pell grants. Typically, the maximum is for less than 48,000 three family members. Those are your maximums for university grant, Pell grants. And usually when students get all those plus plus their federal loan, the school, you're only paying a couple thousand a year when it's CSU, maybe four for UC. So in this state, it's heavily biased toward low income and or, sorry, non-citizens. Non-citizens get special access to those funds, which, I won't tell you my opinion on that, but just leave it alone for now. Some private colleges and universities also award need-based grants, right? HBCUs typically do not. They do not do institutional need-based grants. It's only the merit. I think Howard is experimenting with it last year and again this year. But they're not super large, okay? Not like at predominantly white institutions. They do award need-based university grants, and of course, all of them do Pell Grants. But like a school like GW, that alumni award, which I can help you understand that because I'm an alum there and I work with them on stuff. The alumni award, regularly students get 20, 30,000 that way, right? Because there's a need basis, and every year those schools set it like at 110 or 120,000 a year. Students can get that institutional grant as a quote need-based grant. But Black schools don't really do that. So please have that in mind. The maximum Pell has changed. It'll be changed because of the HR 1. You either call it the big beautiful bill, the big ugly bill. It's going to be $8,495 raised from this year's $7,900. It'll be higher. Yes, I said higher for students for this coming year. Merit scholarships, institutional academic merit. It's free money. College gives to themselves based on the student's academic merit. Typically it's GPA and SAT. Sometimes GPA only, right? But often it's GPA and SAT. Which is why a lot of students should take the SAT, even if a school is optional, it's for the money. It lowers direct college cost, and dollars don't change hands. Again, same thing. Some college scholarships, i.e. the Western public colleges and Seattle Pacific, Grand Canyon, are easier to get than from other colleges. Some colleges are more forthcoming with that money than other colleges. But again, you might sacrifice the name of the college. You might want a certain name, and that this bullet does not apply to that. The hardest to get is private colleges, including HBCU and UCs. To get an institutional academic merit-based award, you're going to have a higher GPA at those schools that are more popular. Okay. All right, let's go on. I'm pretty much done here. Institutional academic merit-based grants. Sometimes guidelines for academic award are on the website. You can go to their website, they'll tell you. Sometimes they're more subjective, they don't tell you. They're based on the pool of the applicants or candidates that get in the school in a given year. Then they decide who gets merit awards. There's a lot of that going on. Western Undergraduate Exchange Scholarships is free money given by certain Western public universities are a way for good, high GPA students to get a very, very affordable college that's out of town, such as, Nevada, Reno, Boise State, but not Arizona State, not Arizona, not UNLV, not Oregon State, not Washington State, not the schools that you probably want. Those schools are going to be very expensive like private schools. However, Boise State, Nevada, Reno, the New Mexico schools and other schools you don't want to go to are going to be very, very affordable. State schools in the West, which are most popular, either do not do the WUI or they're very small. I just said that. ASU, UW, these are schools you want. University of Oregon, Oregon State, UNLV. It's funny how in Nevada, UNLV is not affordable for California students. Not most of you. But Nevada, Reno might be if you have good grades. They call themselves UC Reno. Interesting, huh? Reno is so close to California. If you look at the map, it'll amaze you how it's sticking out into California. Finally, institutional academic merit-based grants, in some cases, high GPA is required to keep the award. So they might say, okay, you get the big old scholarship, and now you have a 3.2 to 3.5, factor that into your college suggestion. Often very good students find the first year challenging and can't get a 3.2. That means they lose their scholarship permanently. Now, a lot of schools let you appeal, for sure, and you can try to get it back, but there's a lot of super great high school students end up being great college GPAs, but their first year, it wasn't as high as they thought it would be. That happens a lot. For family incomes greater than 60,000, most private colleges are not affordable without merit scholarships. Here's where I usually tell students you're getting the school you earn. See, their parents gonna need some help. If their income's over 60, you're gonna have to have some help. I had a view graph last week or last meeting. I think I did it in the automated meeting. If you go online, you'll see my meeting from last week. I talk about the 1/3 rule, and I give you more background on this. Students, you get the school you earn and want, not just the one you want. It's very important. It's a little late to hear that, I suppose, because you're in that first semester of senior year. So why don't you get good grades this semester? Close out strong. What do you say? Start cutting down that friend list and turn your phone in at night. Get off that phone. Free your brain. Take a look at your friends and get some high grades. What do you say? Kind of look up out of the phone and figure things out, because you're going to want to get the school you really earn and want, not just the one you want. Okay. Scholarship facts, all third-party scholarships. Talking about third-party scholarships now. That's how we're going to end this. Nearly all third-party scholarships cover a portion of the indirect costs. Notice, not the direct costs. They're not high enough or timely enough to cover direct costs, because typically they don't pay out till after you start school. It's extremely rare that outside scholarships cover a substantial portion of the direct college costs. And a lot of you are counting on that, I know, but it's extremely rare. Many who claim they're getting funded by a lot of third-party scholarships are really getting a large merit scholarship from the school and or lots of need-based funds from the school. But then they say they have a free ride. Ask them, do they have loans? People use the term scholarship and financial aid interchangeably. I've heard that. They'll say, I got a big scholarship, but they mean financial aid, which includes loans. So parents, be careful what you hear. Do the above, watch for scams. Companies who claim if you pay them, they can guarantee scholarships. Might watch out for that. Please do not pay for scholarships. The best way to afford college is to pick one that is affordable and cost sustainable, not to depend on or bank on a large third-party scholarships that will not happen. I know God can do anything. He performs miracles, but every miracle, listen to this, every miracle I saw Jesus work in the New Testament, he had something to work with. There's something he worked with, he used. So keep that in mind. In this case, I think it's GPA, hello, and or SAT scores. Or the way the college list is simply arranged that could affect, get you in line for scholarships. Here's our viewpoint on scholarships, closing out here. Students should apply for scholarships for sure, but scholarships are a bit overrated given what parents hope and expect they will do. I mean, they might get a couple of $2,000 ones, but if you owe 30, 40,000, it's only for 1 year they get the scholarship. You'll say, hey, but at least it's something, but it's not making a real dent in that parent loan. Direct costs are a major part of a college cost. They're 80 to 90% of the cost of direct costs. Typical scholarships pay from 500 to 1,000 I've seen. There might be several, might be 2 or 3, might be 1 or 2. The high ones run 1,500 to 2,000. That's what I'm seeing. Sure, there are a couple like the Jackie Robinson Award that is $40,000 or $50,000, but they only want to give about 15 of those for the extremely high GPA students. There are other scholarships like that, but the scholarship season begins later, not now. I pulled those view graphs. I probably should talk more about that, but we're not in the scholarship season now. A lot of you are kind of nervous about that, but the scholarship season doesn't begin until late January, really. Conclusion, third-party scholarships are great for indirect costs, travel, technology, personal expenses, books. Not so good for direct costs, which is the heavy lifting, tuition, room, and board. The best results come on scholarships, come with many applications and high persistence, and a high amount of persistence. Okay, I think this is the duplicate view graph. Yeah, maybe I say more here. The highest scholarships awarded to students who need it the least. I hate that. So there's nothing for the student in the middle, is there? 3.8 or plus, SAT score 1350, they get the highest scholarships. Need-based is the second highest category, incomes of 45,000 or less. You'll see scholarships more and more that are based on need more than merit. So, if you're a family making more than 45, making six figures, and that's not uncommon in Southern California, that's not a lot of money here. Your student can't get a need-based award. They can apply, but when they say you need a Pell Grant, they mean you have to have a Pell Grant. So all of my quasi-fosters, fosters, students like that, man, you're looking for those need-based scholarships, and there's some pretty big ones. The biggest mistakes of scholarship applications, what do I see? Lots of work, but a tiny bit of money. Was that really worth it? Very general recommendation letters. You have someone write your recommendation letter and goes, to whom it may concern. Boy, when I'm on scholarship committees and I see that, I go, is this just a form letter they got somebody to type? I don't know. That's why I always write my scholarships to a particular person or to the committee. I refer to you by name in my letter. I write some pretty good recommendation letters, if I may say so myself. Applying for scholarships due to amount, but no regard for if the student meets the qualification. The first thing you should check is, do I meet the qualifications? Parents, I know you want them to apply for a lot of scholarships, but please be sure they meet the qualifications, okay? Late applications, that's a common thing. They missed an email from the organization. Don't provide all the information maybe, okay? How to find, we're not a scholarship search organization. However, we do teach students how to find them. We have a website location, I'll show you our website later, where we list scholarships every month. We have some coming up for the month of November if they're not up already. You should look there. We give a lot of other valuable advice when you read the page, okay, about some of the things I'm saying today, actually. Check your sources, ask parent and others, search company websites. Utilities is a great source. All the utilities have scholarships. Use Google. Yep, the list literally changes every time you search. Search for college scholarships 2026 and watch it change every time. You'll notice all of them are due in the spring. So you shouldn't be, if you haven't submitted your applications especially, why are you worrying about scholarship out there? You got to get in first. You got to get your applications credibly done first. Company college scholarships. Maybe the companies your parents work for have scholarships. Search 2 or 3 times a week. Only apply when you meet the requirement. There I go with that again. Print out and read all forms and directions. Watch the due dates. Okay? And I'll close with, will I get an athletic scholarship? I tend to always cover that. And athletic refers to a lot. I mean, I never thought about this. I probably should have said athletic or activity scholarship. Probably not a large Division I school you'd already know. I mean, they were camping on your lawn. They tried to sign you last year. I know one young man I'm working with now, that is true. Okay, but for most, it's not true. I've only had actually in these 25 years, only 3 Division I athletes that got scholarships. I had my 3rd last year. Young lady went for track to Berkeley. Okay. It's hard. I'll show you the charts in a minute. Lower Division I and Division II NAIA, or let's say NAIA, and NCAA coaches usually make promises they cannot honor, and they want you to wait. Don't wait for them. Just apply to other colleges. They want you to wait because they're trying to figure out who's going to be the starters they recruit, what kind of depth they need. They're not sure when they approach it. They get sure in the spring, right, after you've already applied. Athletic awards and promises to play regularly are not done till late spring. It's just the way it works. The remedy, go through with your college plans for other schools until you know what's happening with the athletic scholarships and other athletic promises. Beware of accepting athletic scholarships from small remote colleges, especially without visiting. This usually can happen in the summer, even after you're already set to go somewhere else, they come up to you. Make sure you visit. Here's the probability of competing in college athletics. I thought I'd provide that. This is the chart that NCAA puts out every year of all the high school participants in sports and what percentage actually play in college. I mean, hockey is the best, right? Football, 6.8%. Cross country. You can see them in basketball, 3%. And look at the breakdown, 1% to Division I, and another percent to Division II, and 1.4 to Division III of that 3.4%. Okay? Look at football. 2.6% to Division One for sure. That's 2 out of 100. 3 out of 100. 1.8, 2.4. This is a fascinating chart. You should definitely refer to it and you can send it to your friends too. Again, you'll get it as part of the package. Look at this last chart I included. And this is the first time NCAA ever integrated this chart. Although I think they made a mistake. I couldn't tell what that third column was at all. The last column over to the right, I don't know what that is. But they figured out all the draft eligible players for each sport, the number of draft picks, the number drafted, and this is for 24, 25. How many went to pro and the percentage? Look at the percentages. Only 0.9%, I would have thought it would have been higher, played in the WNBA. That's less than 1%. Basketball for men, 1.1% go pro. Okay, you saw the college numbers on the other page. Baseball is a little better. This is important when you're thinking about, what's the terminal, what's the plan for the sport they're doing and spending a lot of time on right now. What's really going to happen with that in the future if they're not being recruited heavily right now? There'll probably be some Division 2 or 3 school, that's fine. But let's keep it all in perspective and make sure we do that. Okay? I think that's it. Oh yeah, how can we help with scholarships? I added this. Recommendation. We write recommendations. It's okay if you're a regular attendee and we know the student. If we worked with them on their applications and read their essays, we know them. SAT class, virtual homework club. I say virtual, but homework club now. Summer bridge program. Otherwise, someone who knows you personally would be better, not us. Got a couple of you and have known your youth for a few years. So I think I could write a nice recommendation for them. I need recommendation requests 2 weeks in advance, please. I'm still getting a lot of them the day before they're due, and it's really hard for me to turn that around. I got to stop everything. And a lot of times I have a personal life, but also there's a lot happening in this admission process. I need web addresses and forms. The exact person who I am writing the letter, I want to be a student of that scholarship before I write it. I cannot do a Gates Millennium or other scholarship nomination if the youth does not meet both the income and the GPA requirement. A lot of times I get required. I already got one this year. Families making 150, 200,000. They're not getting a Gates scholarship, even though that's a terrific student. That student should apply for like a Jackie Robinson Award or Coca-Cola Award next year. These are the high GPA ones that they should be able to get. The nomination essay is 600 to 800 words. So clearly, I want to write 800 words. I know they probably aren't going to get it. Okay. And if I get this one and do it, I need it 4 weeks in advance. And the deadline's coming up. So there you go. What are some of the scholarships they got last year? Boy, the fraternities and sororities is a good source. They have some nice scholarships. Delta Sigma Theta, different chapters, different cities. AKF Inglewood, American Chemical Society, Coca-Cola, KFC, DWP, SE, you get the idea. Again, you'll have a copy of this. The students can look those up. And I put down the bottom Google Works. All right, that's all I have. Let me stop the share. I'll take any questions that you have. I'll be glad to take those right now if you have any questions, because I'm pretty much done. Ooh, pretty much y'all stayed with me too.
Deacon Wilson, I have a question.
Go right ahead. Who's asking?
Orlana Williams.
Go right ahead. What's your child's name?
Amari Parker. I'm Clarence Harmon's niece. Aunt.
Oh, Harmon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have 2 children that next
Two
year are gonna,
seniors. Two seniors.
I have one senior and then one person he's transferred from a junior college.
But is it happening in fall 2026?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure?
For both, yes.
Okay, now go ahead. Because sometimes that answer is maybe. And it's from
I'm
transfer,
pretty
because
sure.
transferring from, and they trying to transfer to a private school?
Yeah, to any school, basically 4 years. So
Any school that's affordable. Let me hear you say
yes,
that.
any school that's affordable.
Okay, I
Yes.
don't want to hear you say
Yes.
any school that scares me.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
any school that's affordable.
All right.
So for FAFSA, will they take in consideration that I have 2 students that are going to be in college?
Depends on your income. Don't tell me your income, I'll tell you the answer. If your income is above $100,000, they won't notice it. This change was made during the last administration. Don't blame Trump for everything. They made that change and we were all shocked. When they put out the new FAFSA, it now shifts the money to, be careful, certain other kinds of students, and they don't consider it like I think they should.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You'll get money. I mean, you're gonna get money, but you'll never know it wasn't what it could have been before. You'll never
I
know.
see. I see. Okay. So they're not, so if you make a certain amount, then they're not going to take into consideration you have 2 kids in college.
I didn't say they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much considered as before, we remember.
Okay.
People like me know. Problem is I know, so I have to answer you truthfully.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So that's why sometimes the award will surprise families who make more than 100,000.
I see.
It'll
Okay.
surprise. I got 2 kids. I got to pay this.
Yeah.
Have you filed their FAFSA yet?
I'm in the process of doing it. They did their student portion, and I'm getting ready to do the parent portion. I've done it for my oldest before, and it's pretty easy.
With the new FAFSA?
Oh, not the new one. No,
Okay.
because
Okay.
this was a couple years ago.
Okay. Have your eyes open when you're doing it, because the smarter a person is, the more they can be tricked.
Oh, okay.
It's a little confusing, the process. The form is easy. but
Okay.
The process is a little confusing.
Okay. Usually I just put my tax return, I just give them, I give them access to upload my tax return.
And that's still true, but the way that, remember, it's the process, not the actual form. You'll find that okay.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's doing it right that's the problem.
Okay.
And you got 2 to coordinate. So you got to do both.
Yeah, I have to do both. Mm-hmm.
Used to be
Okay.
you could do used to be you could do 2 at once.
Yeah.
They don't have
Yeah.
that no more.
Yeah, I have to do 2
Is this a
separate
single
ones.
income or 2 incomes?
Single income.
Okay.
Mhm.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm an accountant, federal government.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Praise the Lord. We can talk offline if you want. I've never talked to you before. I'd love to know more about that and what their college lists are.
Okay.
That's what's going to drive costs. My transfer students always try to get it back with an expensive school.
Oh, I see.
They
Mhm.
always do. They feel like I worked hard. I should get that now.
Mhm.
It's only 2 years. Let me go for a big one.
Yeah, no, he's not gonna do that.
Okay, is he applying to CSU?
Yes,
Well,
yes,
that's where he should transfer.
yes, yes, yeah. He plays football, but you know that little 1%. So he plays at Santa Monica.
Does he know that? Would those numbers surprise him?
Oh no, it won't surprise him. So I'm the one having a plan B. He thinks he's gonna get a scholarship, but
Oh, well,
I'm
then
doing
he
the plan
wouldn't
B.
believe. He would be surprised at the numbers.
No, he knows that it's a small percentage, but he
But
thinks
he
he's
thinks he's
gonna.
getting a scholarship.
Yes,
So he would be surprised at the numbers. Think about
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yes, yes.
2% would surprise him.
I think so. I think it'll surprise him.
But you
He
know what
thinks he's all
2%
that.
means?
He thinks he is, gonna get it. But I'm doing the plan B of you're not
Are
gonna.
recruiters on your lawn?
Yes,
Recruiters are on your lawn. They're trying to
yes.
sign him right now. Here, sign right here.
They did that
Or
last year.
they just send him letters.
They did it last year. They wanted them to come for a visit and all of that.
Is that happening this year?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of. He's 20 now, so he's not having me in the process. So
Wait a minute, who's going to pay for college?
me.
I have to talk to these students that say
I
that.
know. I know.
What the
I
heck?
know. I know. I know. Yeah. Well, I have to set up an appointment with you.
All right. Well, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right.
Brother Wilson, I did have a quick question about that.
Wait, everybody says that. Doesn't have to be quick.
Well, it doesn't have to be quick, but I'm trying to make it quick in the interest of everybody's time. But just going back to the late statement about the age of her children, at some point, and my daughter is younger, she's going to be going into college.